You watched the short and something landed, maybe recognition, maybe grief, maybe both. You've been taking care of things since you were young. You're the capable one. This video isn't about celebrating your competence. It's about asking what you had to sacrifice to be so good at holding everything together, and what becomes possible when you finally let something fall. Every family has a vacuum, a space where a parent should be but isn't, emotionally or physically or both. And the parentified child is the one in the family they needed to fill it. Maybe your parent was fragile and you became their emotional support before you understood what emotions were. Maybe they needed a confidant and you became their peer, the person they told things that no child should hear. Maybe the family was falling apart and you became the glue holding it together. You didn't choose this role. The system chose it for you, and you were too young to refuse. But here's what happened. You learned that your value lives in what you provide, that love is payment for labor, that your role in the family is to manage, to fix, to hold everyone else so they don't fall. You became extraordinarily competent because your own survival depended on the family staying intact. You learned to read the parent's emotional state before they knew it themselves, to manage their feelings, to be the stable one, to be the responsible one, the one who doesn't fall apart. And you learned that your own childhood, your own needs, your own development, and your own becoming happened mostly off screen while you were taking care of someone else. Here's what it looks like now. You're the most visibly competent person in almost any room. You take charge because waiting for someone else feels unbearable. You can do almost anything. Leadership lands on you whether you want it or not, and you're profoundly exhausted in a way you can't quite name. There's a grief underneath competence, grief that childhood happened off screen, grief for the version of you that never got to just be a kid. And there's a rage you can't justify because you chose this, right? You took on the responsibilities. You became capable. So why does it feel like something was stolen? Relationships are complicated because you're comfortable as the responsible one, the person in charge, the emotional adult. But being an equal feels terrifying, and asking for help feels like failure. Letting someone else lead feels dangerous, so you unconsciously recreate hierarchy even when you're just trying to build a partnership. You choose someone who is emotionally younger, or you choose someone strong and then can't stop managing them anyway because surrender feels like death. The moment the other person becomes stable or heals or doesn't need you as much, you might feel purposeless, threatened, because the relationship was built on you being essential. Losing their dependence can feel like losing the relationship entirely. Your compass got calibrated around someone else's stability. You developed extraordinary discernment, but it was in service of managing another person's emotional world. You learned to read situations instantly, to understand what needs to happen to keep things intact, to anticipate what the other person's needs are before they even know themselves. But turning that same discernment inward, asking, what do I need? What do I feel? What is true for me? That's the recalibration work. And it's terrifying because your whole nervous system was built around someone else's emotional temperature. You can tell you what everyone else needs instantly. You understand the dynamics, the patterns, and what would help. But your own signal, what you actually want, what you actually feel, what you actually need, that got buried under the parents' needs so early that you may have never fully developed it. This creates a specific blindness. You're extraordinarily attuned to managing systems and completely numb to your own depletion. You don't notice when you're drowning because you're too busy keeping everyone else afloat. Parentified children live primarily in fight and freeze. Fight is taking charge, refusing to let things fall apart, managing the situation so nothing gets out of control. And freeze is the stillness of someone who has been managing everything so long that stopping feels like a free fall. You hold everything together so tightly that relaxing feels dangerous. The gift in both of these responses, it's the capacity to stabilize the situation, to be the person who doesn't fall apart when things get hard, to build systems that work. When that's working for you instead of against you, it's not hypercompetence. It's authentic leadership. It's the difference between managing because you have to and leading because you choose to. What shifts when you finally ask yourself what you need? It's terrifying. Your nervous system fires all the old warnings. If you stop managing, everything falls apart. The parent will fall apart. You fail. You're responsible for holding this together. But if you can move through that terror, something else becomes possible. You might notice that other people are more capable than you've allowed them to be. That letting something fall doesn't mean that you've failed. It means you finally stopped caring what isn't yours. That your own survival is as important as everyone else's. It's the slow, strange relief of discovering that love isn't payment for labor. That you can rest without a world falling apart. That people can stand on their own, even if you're not there holding them up. The parentified child who stops managing everything doesn't become irresponsible or unavailable. They become whole. They learn what they actually want underneath what they thought they should want. They discover that leadership feels different when it's a choice instead of a necessity. And that's when the competence becomes real power instead of survival.